Welcome, my fellow travelers. Your traveling buddy here, coming today from Durand, Michigan. And if you haven't watched my videos before, I've been here several times. This is actually a railroad town, and there's lots of history here. You know, this is where I've tried to get into that train museum that's over there. That's not what this video is going to be about. This is going to be about something else. There was a big train disaster that happened here. It was called the Wallace Brothers train disaster. It was a circus train that was passing through here, and several people died and animals died and all that. So this is what this story. I'm going to tell the story about the Wallace Brothers train disaster. So travel with me, will you? I'll start out here in front of this train here. This is the train that was involved in the wreck. This was another train. It was called the Knights Templar Special. And they have it displayed out here. And I was out here around Christmas time, and they actually had it decorated up for Christmas, stuff like that. And there's a memorial out here to railroad people right over here. So here's the memorials. Here it says the last call, built by the Baldwin Locomotive Works in 1929, retired in 1958. Type Pacific K4 462, weight 257 tons, length 83 feet, dedicated by May 20th, 1961 by the Durand Junior Chamber of Commerce. And right there's the train. Still, last time I was here, it needs to have some touch up. You see some rust on there and stuff. But here's all the people that have died. You know, the railroad people that have died. Stuff like that. Look at that. It's pretty interesting. They're really famous for this. It's a big railroad town. Zoom back up. There we go. You can see that train. The other things are huge. Compared to what trains look nowadays, those things were massive. Let's go out, and I have to go out to the next stop is actually to the cemetery. And there's actually something out there about the Wallace Brothers train wreck. Don't stop in Durand without showing this. Look at this clock. I'm showing this many times, and it's actually playing right now. You look up there, there's Abraham Lincoln and George Washington up there. It's playing music. See down here, you can see inside. This is a beautiful clock. It's called the Sandal Clock Tower. There's another clock in there. The mechanism, basically. But yeah. Can't stop in here without seeing that. And it's just done playing. And this statue right here, the railroad worker. I told you this is a railroad town. I'm coming up to trying to get to the cemetery, and look what I come across. A train! As I said, there's train tracks everywhere around here. No matter where you go, you're gonna run into trains around here. This is a big railroad town. Amtrak comes by here, all kinds of trains. Alright, travelers, I came down here. This is a Pryor Road right here in Durand, and I came down here to the Lovejoy Cemetery right here, and there is supposed to be a memorial to the Great Wallace train wreck. So, looks like an interesting cemetery. I ain't seen too many of them, like a bunch of hills. It's pretty hilly, but let's go and find it. I think I see it already. I believe it's that one right there, according to the pictures I've seen of the memorial. Okay guys, here we are. Look, this is the monument to the Wallace Brothers train wreck. And it says here on it, in memory of the unknown dead, kind of hard to read a little bit, amongst the railroad wreck of the Great Wallace shows August 6th, 1953. Oh, 33. 1933. Yeah. That's what it says. Yep. It said they are supposed to be a bunch of them buried here. I don't know if these. Yep. Yep. Here's some of the graves right here. It says unknown. This one probably says unknown. It's kind of sad that they don't know who these people were. I don't know if that one was part of it. That one says mother on it. So these two say unknown. There's some over on the back here that look like it. That one says John. This one says, I can't really read that one. That one's really faded. There's another one here. Looks like it just fell over. And there's another one there. So I'm not sure if these ones were actually some of the graves of the people that were in that train wreck. It'd be surprised that with all the technology today they don't find who these people were, you know. But yeah, there's two of them right there, at least I know, because that one definitely says unknown. So, I can't really read that one too much. It's a lot of moss on there. But at least I got the memorial right here to them. Right there. Looks like they've been repairing some of the tombstones around here. Hope they were just fell over naturally and not some jerk coming out here destroying stuff. But yeah, there's the memorial. Now let me tell you the story of the Great Wallace train wreck here in Durand, Michigan. At 8:30 a.m. at the Grand Trunk Railroad Yard in Durand, Michigan, two separate trains of the Wallace Brothers shows met in a rear-end collision that resulted in the death of 23 people and twice as many were injured. Several animals were killed, including an Arabian horse, 3 camels, 1 Great Dane, and an elephant named Maud. The accident occurred about 1,500 feet west of Oak Street, crossing of the main line, as the engine of the second train smashed into several cars of the first. The animals were buried at this location. The first train had pulled into Durand from Charlotte en route to Lapeer. It stopped at the west end of the yards on the main track. A red light was put out to signal the second train. The engineer saw the light and attempted to stop his train, but the air brakes failed and the engine crashed into the rear of the front train with a terrific force. The engineer and the fireman both jumped from the train. once they realized that the collision would be inevitable. Both men escaped with minor injuries. According to the Owasso Argus-Press, the scene that followed is indescribable. The crisis and the groans from the injured persons and frightened passengers, the roars from the terrified animals, and the escaping steam arose the whole city, and hundreds rushed to the scene to assist in every way in the sad tasks of caring for the dead and wounded. In the rear car of the first section were sleeping circus employees who had no warning of the danger. 10 of the 15 these men were killed and numbered seriously injured. Trainmaster McCarthy, Special Officer Large and Foley, and traveling engineer Hazel of the Grand Trunk also were in this car. McCarthy and Large were killed, and 2 others escaped with injuries. In all, 22 men died that morning, and 4 more died after being transported to a hospital in Detroit. A temporary hospital was set up in the Hotel Richetta at Durand. Several doctors from around the country worked for many hours on the wounded, which reached nearly 100. The fire whistle sounded, and every physician and nurse summoned, and quickly preparations made to care for the suffering. 17 people were killed instantly, and they were laid out on the field as fast as they were recovered from the debris. The wrecking crews of the railroad system were called and had the track cleared and regular services restored by 9:30 p.m. that night. The Argus reported that the survivors of the wreck are a sober-looking lot. One of them was overheard saying, "Thank God I'm still alive." At noon that day, a special train took the injured to the Detroit hospitals. G.W. McLean and C.J. Maples, with the assistance of imported undertakers, impaled the largest number of bodies in McLean's undertaking rooms. The wreck was one of the worst in the state's history, and maybe the nation's, in 1903. One of the deplorable features was inevitably the identity of some of the dead. The bodies lay in the state for several days and were viewed by hundreds of people from all over the country. Many a sad scene when enhanced as a distant relatives would enter the room, view a long row of dead, and find their lost son, brother, or relatives. 10 bodies were unclaimed. They were buried in Lovejoy Cemetery. One of this number, one of the bodies were claimed, taken and removed to New York State. 9 board signs were promoted in the cemetery over each of the unknown victims. Okay guys, I'll come up here. This is Oak Street right here. Remember the story he's told about where it possibly happened. Now don't quote me on it. I've just been driving around for a bit, and this is the closest I could think of where this happened. Right down through here, these railroad tracks right here. So right about here, it says 1,500 feet from Oak Street, and this is Oak Street right here. So I'm taking it was down through here. This is where the big train crash happened. Now, according to what they're saying, that there was, there's a lot of the circus animals died, during this, and one of them was an elephant. Now they say that it was so big that they just dug a hole and buried him right there. So somewhere down through here, there's an elephant buried. I'm surprised they don't have like a historical marker or something for it, I'm not gonna go down too far. I'm on the side road right by the tracks. But yeah, somewhere right here, there's an elephant buried. I don't know how deep they buried them, That's just interesting to find out that they just buried him right on the spot because he was so big, too big to move. Alright, I've been walking for a bit, and I'm not going to go too far because I don't want to get in trouble, because this is the railroad line, But it makes you wonder where he's buried at, down through here. Alright, my fellow travelers, that's going to be about it for this little trip to Durand, Michigan, to search out the Great Wallace Circus train wreck. It supposedly happens right about here. Not sure exactly how far down. I'm not going to go any further, but it's interesting. There's an elephant buried out here. Well, I bet you a lot of people don't know. If anybody in Durand knows, where it actually was, let me know. Leave a comment below. I'd be interested to find out where exactly that elephant is buried. But, yep. Right about this way. This is in the 1930s. Big train wreck. So, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Share me out. Share me out on all your social media. Tell your friends, tell your family about me, so I can continue traveling and telling you stories and showing you cool things like this. Also, leave me a comment. Any comments appreciated. Any ideas for me to do? Let me know. I just might show up and do it. So until next time, my fellow travelers, I'll see you around the mitten.